You're back with us for another deep dive. Good to be here again.
Yeah, good to connect.
Today, we're really zeroing in on the latest from Ash Mufareh. We've got excerpts from that video, Ash Sir, part 1.mp4.
Right.
And the mission, as always, is basically to pull out the key stuff for you. You know, save you wading through it all. We want clarity, save you time.
Exactly. Cut through the noise.
It feels great to reconnect. Things have been, well, pretty intense behind the scenes. Lots of work going on.
Definitely. It's been a few months since the last big update, hasn't it?
It has. And you can tell that time was used for, well, some necessary changes, really. Hard work.
Yeah. Seems like a period of significant activity, shifts within the company. We're here to try and make sense of it all.
And Ash, he specifically wanted to thank everyone listening, watching. He really stressed that it's, voluntary, your choice to be here.
Which is interesting, right? He mentioned that feeling of a global community, something beyond just business.
Yeah, he did. It highlights that personal connection he feels, I think.
That feeling definitely points to something more than just products, a shared vision, maybe. Collective purpose.
And his own motivation. He talked about wanting to make a real difference, leaving a positive legacy, impacting the world. He even said something like striving to live beyond his personal capacity.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's quite ambitious. Suggests a pretty deep commitment, doesn't it? Beyond just the usual business goals.
Definitely. So, okay, what are we actually covering today? He gave a pretty clear list.
Good. What's on it?
Right. So, number one, the big one. The SEC investigation update, the passive situation.
Okay, definitely need to unpack that.
Then the status of their offices abroad, international locations.
Right. Expansion.
Also some info regarding former ONPASSIVE employees.
Ah, okay. That could be sensitive.
Then details on affiliate commissions, the company's current status, and where it's heading.
The future direction, yeah.
And finally, updates on the webinar schedule. So, yeah, quite a bit to get through.
Sounds comprehensive, covering all the key areas people are probably asking about. Shows they're trying to keep everyone in the loop.
Before diving in, though, he sent out good wishes, hoped everyone's doing great, having an amazing day.
Nice personal touch.
And just reiterated that core aim. Bring good value, positive impact, which, is what we try to do here too.
Yeah, it reinforces that human element in the community.
And he circled back to that point about participation being voluntary. Really hammered it home.
Okay.
No one should feel obligated. If you're not comfortable, it's your choice. Framing it like that, I thought that was quite telling.
It suggests they want people involved because they want to be, not because they feel they have to be. Genuine enthusiasm.
Yeah. And I like his bit about simplifying complexity.
Oh.
Yeah, the idea that taking something complex and making it easy to grasp is, well, he hinted it was a mark of genius. A powerful way to think about innovation, really.
That makes sense. Making powerful things accessible to everyone. That's the goal, isn't it?
And he used Thomas Edison. The persistence thing.
Ah, right. The light bulb story. Many tries.
Exactly. To frame any past setbacks, just part of the journey to success. A good reminder.
It highlights that resilience you need, right? Progress isn't always smooth sailing. Obstacles happen.
For sure. And then just a quick personal note from him, said he was at Disney World, wished everyone well.
Huh? Okay. A little bit of normalcy before the big updates. Sets a nice tone.
Right. Okay, let's do it. The SEC situation. This has been hanging over things, hasn't it?
Definitely. Lots of speculation.
So Ash confirmed it. Yes, there was a private investigation. SEC looking into ONPASSIVE. But crucially, it started years ago.
Years ago. Okay, so not a recent thing then. That's important context. It's been going on for a while.
And he said they immediately hired a great law firm, signaled they took it seriously right away.
Makes sense. You'd want top legal help for something like that. Shows they were addressing it professionally.
And it sounds like they cooperated fully, submitted tons of data, personal, business, going back to January 1st, 2018.
Wow, 2018. That's
Yeah.
a deep dive by the SEC and requires significant effort from the company to comply. Full transparency, it seems.
Yeah. Though he did say the process felt unfair, a burden, but he also gave credit to the SEC staff, said they were professional.
That's a balanced view, acknowledging the difficulty but also the conduct of the people involved, not just painting it as purely hostile.
He even got a bit philosophical, said he learned that bad things happen to good people in good companies. Sounds like it took a toll.
You can imagine that kind of scrutiny. It's stressful. It humanizes the whole thing. Business isn't always predictable.
Now, this is where it gets complicated. He talked about negative stuff from some former employees.
Oh, like who?
People let go early, suspended, terminated. He claims some of them actively tried to harm him and the company. Expressed hate, he said.
Oof. Okay, so internal issues bleeding into external problems. That adds another layer. Never simple.
He went further, alleged these people were collecting money and campaigning to disrupt things.
Collecting money. Wow. That's a serious accusation.
Wow.
Suggests an organized effort against them.
Yeah. And apparently, as the company got bigger, more haters emerged. Even some former staff, his words, started snitching.
The downside of growth and visibility, perhaps, attracts more attention, both good and bad.
But he kept insisting the company operates with transparency, despite all that.
That's the message they need to push, especially when facing those kinds of accusations. Transparency is key.
He told this story from back in summer or late 2018.
Early days.
Yeah, before there was even a proper website or total clarity on everything. People joined just based on trusting him.
That really highlights how crucial that initial trust was. Built on personal belief, big responsibility for him.
And then he talked about how damaging broken trust is. Used this analogy, shattered glass.
Yeah, you can't really piece it back together the same way. Powerful image.
But he also said he found comfort because most people did keep trusting. That contrast, it felt heavy.
It underlines how fragile trust is, but also how vital it is for keeping that community strong. Acknowledging the continued support is important for resilience.
He was very firm about their fail-forward approach.
Yeah.
Resilience. Said, winners never quit.
Strong message. Perseverance, turning setbacks into learning. That's the mindset they're projecting.
Then he kind of took aim at public haters and black marketers. Said they just chase views, don't offer solutions.
Pushing back against the negativity.
Contrasted it with ONPASSIVE, providing, he believes, real value and hope, even if it's just a daily positive message.
Positioning themselves as a positive force against criticism. Makes sense.
I liked his analogy about motivation, comparing needing daily positivity to needing daily showers or meals.
Oh, yeah. That's quite relatable, actually.
Right. It's not a one-off thing. You need that constant reinforcement.
Very true. Sustained effort requires sustained motivation. Good analogy.
He also shared how good he felt being connected to the community, his personal commitment beyond just money.
Sounds like a genuine passion for the whole thing, the vision, the people, intrinsic motivation.
Okay, back to the SEC specifics. He mentioned the cost. Millions of dollars.
Millions. Ouch. That's a serious financial drain.
And it complicated things like KYC, know your customer stuff abroad, real practical impacts.
Yeah, regulatory issues always have knock-on effects. Slows down expansion, adds operational hurdles, substantial burdens.
But here's the big news. He announced an initial resolution has been reached with the SEC.
Ah, okay. This is it. The key update.
This is what people were waiting for, yeah.
A major step forward, then. Could really change the narrative.
Definitely. But he also warned people, don't believe rumors or unofficial stories.
Smart. Control the message.
Said they're likely wrong, or worse, intentionally misleading. Standard advice, but important here.
Absolutely critical during sensitive times. Stick to official channels to avoid misinformation.
He confirmed getting to this point took, quote, tremendous hard work and obviously a lot of money. Not easy, not cheap.
Underlines the effort and resources they poured into resolving this. Shows how serious it was for them.
And get this. They hired one of the top global law firms. He mentioned they have experience with cases involving people like Elon Musk.
Wow, okay. They really brought in the heavy hitters. Shows how high the stakes were. A determined effort.
Now, a slight clarification. He said it's an initial resolution. They're in the final touch-ups of a settlement.
Ah, so not 100% done, but the main agreement is likely in place, just procedural stuff left.
Sounds like it. Very close.
Okay, final touch-ups. Good to know.
The final settlement goes to a civil court in Central Florida, Orlando. And the hope is dismissal.
Dismissal would be huge. Complete closure, no penalties. That's the ideal outcome for them.
Timeline. He didn't give an exact date, but said likely a few weeks from April 11th, so now-ish.
Okay.
With a reasonable expectation, it's all wrapped up by June. So next couple of months.
Right. So we should expect final confirmation relatively soon. Good to have a time frame. Even an estimated one manages expectations.
Why settle? He said it was partly financial exhaustion. Fighting it longer costs too much.
Understandable. Legal battles are incredibly expensive.
And also a belief that, well, the SEC didn't really have much to go on anyway, so a strategic decision.
A pragmatic calculation then, weighing the costs versus the perceived strength of the case against them. Implies confidence they weren't fundamentally in the wrong.
And they'll keep cooperating with the SEC right to the end and even after.
Smart move. Maintain a good relationship, facilitate a smooth ending.
And then, the big statement he wanted everyone to hear, ONPASSIVE will not be shut down.
That's the reassurance people needed, right? Directly addressing fears about the company's survival because of this.
Absolutely unequivocal. He said the outcome, the settlement, basically shows the company poses no harm or threat.
Framing it as a vindication, essentially. Not an admission of guilt, but proof they're legitimate.
Exactly. And he promised one last final update on the SEC thing in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
Once it's totally finalized.
Okay, so closure is near, and they'll confirm it officially. Good.
Right. So moving beyond the SEC, what about the offices abroad?
Yeah, what's the status there?
He basically said they're pushing ahead with global expansion. Didn't give, like, a country-by-country breakdown.
Okay.
But stressed these offices are vital for international operations, regional support, local partnerships, all that.
Makes sense for a global company. Need that on-the-ground presence.
Admitted there were some logistical challenges initially, which you'd expect.
Sure. International setup is complex.
Sev said is progressing well. Key part of their growth strategy. Tapping into talent, serving customers everywhere.
So the takeaway is, expansion is happening. It's strategic despite some hurdles. Shows a maturing infrastructure.
Okay, next. Former employees. We touched on the negative actors earlier.
Right, the snitching and campaigning he mentioned.
Yeah. More broadly, though, he just said, departures happen. It's normal company evolution.
Standard stuff.
And ONPASSIVE is focused on the current team. Future growth. Didn't give numbers or specifics.
Yeah.
Just looking forward.
Focusing on the present and future team. A forward-looking stance, not dwelling on the past. Makes sense.
Then, affiliate commissions. What's the story there?
Always a key question for many involved.
He confirmed the affiliate program is still integral, core to their growth.
Okay.
Said they're committed to rewarding affiliates. And they regularly review the commission structure, potential updates, enhancements to keep it fair and competitive.
Good to hear they're reviewing it. Shows they see affiliates as valued partners.
Yeah, reassured them they're appreciated, part of the ecosystem.
So the message is, the affiliate program is alive and well, and they're keeping an eye on making it work for everyone.
Exactly. Now, the bigger picture. Company status, future direction.
Yeah, after all this, where do they stand?
He painted a picture of, well, continued innovation, development. The core vision is strong, he insisted. Said the recent challenges, SEC included, haven't derailed the long-term goals. They're still pushing ahead.
Resilience again.
Spoke about ongoing product development, delivering disruptive tech. Still focused on customer value, building a sustainable, impactful company.
So despite the major distraction of the SEC case, the underlying strategy and innovation focus remain unchanged. That's the message.
Seems to be. And lastly, the webinar schedule.
Ah, yes, communication.
He said webinars remain crucial for communication, training, community engagement, all of it.
Makes sense. Direct line to the community.
Mentioned they're working on making the schedule more consistent, more informative, covering more topics, product demos, interaction.
Sounds like an improvement. Consistency helps.
Encourage everyone to watch out for official announcements on the updated schedule.
Okay, so webinars continue and potentially getting better structured. Good for keeping people engaged and informed.
So let's try and wrap this all up. This deep dive, it shows a company that's been through, well, a lot, especially this SEC thing.
A very significant challenge, yeah.
But they've reached an initial resolution there. That's huge. We also heard about global expansion moving forward.
Focusing on the current team.
Right. Commitment to affiliates, the vision is still the same, and they're improving communication like the webinars.
It paints a picture of a company that, yes, faced serious issues, but is showing resilience and trying to move forward on multiple fronts. That SEC resolution, even if just initial, is a major weight potentially lifting.
Absolutely. And it really underscores that whole idea of perseverance, doesn't it? Not just against external stuff like the SEC, but internal dynamics too. Staying focused.
Yeah, it makes you think about what it takes to build anything significant. Resilience is key. And communication, trust, weathering storms.
Indeed. Building something big is never a straight line, is it? The ability to adapt, learn, keep that community support, that's often the difference. This update really shows all sides of that journey for ONPASSIVE.
Well said.
Well, that brings us to the end of this deep dive on Ash Mufareh's update. We really hope this gave you a clear, concise picture of what's happening.
Hope it was useful.
Thanks for joining us. Until next time, take care and keep thinking critically.
And maybe think about this. in whatever you're building or involved in, how do you cultivate that resilience? How do you handle those unexpected curveballs and use communication to keep trust strong when things get complex? Something to chew on.